Are you seeing it on your end, Dr. Erin?
Yes. Yep.
Perfect. All right, disruptors, welcome, welcome. Good morning. We are about to share a live broadcast, your behind the scenes of Mindset Mastery Moments with an amazing guest. So, we are going to officially start in about 30 seconds, but we just want to welcome you wherever you're watching us from in the world, whether you're on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook. We welcome you to Mindset Mastery. We have got an amazing episode for you. This episode started an hour and a half ago. Dr.
Ooh.
Erin and I are here, but we're going to count us in because we do have to distribute this officially on our podcast platforms. But the last two episodes, we decided to go live and let you all in while the fire is hot. So you guys get this exclusive piece before it's edited and placed on our podcast platforms. Welcome back to Mindset Master Moments. Today, we are diving into a topic that most leaders overlook, yet it might be the most powerful tool for clarity, creativity, and resilience. It's called strategic rest. My guest today, Dr. Erin Wilson, is not only the co author of Strategic Rest in Leadership, but also the CEO of Design Ideal Consulting. She's also the host of Power Nap Live. She said Power Nap Live. God, I'm loving this girl already. She's the leadership consultant who has worked with organizations worldwide. She's helped teams to thrive through relationship, intelligence, intentional leadership, and yes, the power of rest. Dr. Erin Wilson is a mission driven, purpose focused, transformational coach leader. She leads teams to thrive by integrating relationship intelligence. And I told you that crazy thing that I can't wait to her tell us strategic rest because y'all know I'm a recovering workaholic, right? She also talks about designing your life around intentionality. As the CEO of Design Ideal Consulting, she has spent over a decade designing transformative team building experiences for organizations. She is a certified expert in core strengths, the five behaviors, and everything this. Erin equips teams with tools to communicate, collaborate, and lead with impact. She's also the co founder of Strategic Rest Summit and the co-author of the Strategic Rest Leadership Challenge. She is here to teach us how to implement rest in our leadership, in our entrepreneurial, and she's going to bring so much more because we had a ball just having some really good girl time and boss lady business behind the scenes. Erin, sister, Dr. Erin Wilson, welcome to Mindset Mastery Moments officially. In your own words, tell us who you are, where you're from, and why you do what you do.
Thank you so much. I could not be more excited to be here. Like you said, this podcast really did start before we even hit play. We have just been really vibing right on who we
Yes.
are. And so you kind of told just the perfect story. You're so good at that, Elisa. But I'm Dr. Erin Wilson. I'm the principal consultant and CEO, of course, at Design Ideal Consulting. And I really help teams and individuals through executive coaching unlock their full potential through relationship intelligence, through my signature framework, strategic rest, which we'll talk about, the NAP
Yes.
framework to really help you understand how to use rest as fuel, how to use it as your superpower instead of seeing it as something that's a reward that we just try to
Yes.
run towards the end of the week. And my mission is really simple. It really is to transform leaders. I've had some phenomenal opportunities to be able to do that with people all over the world. It's incredibly important for me. It's my purpose and passion to help organizations, to help teams, to help people achieve sustainable success. And so that's what I get to do. One of the things that brought me to this space is really experiencing hustle culture, really that
Mm,
like I had to do all, be all, see all,
mm.
know all, and it 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 literally almost killed me. And that
Ooh,
literally almost killed me. I, due to trying to show up for everyone, I burnt out and really experienced my very first stress induced seizure, and I knew something
wow.
had to change, that there was something else, that this can't be how life is meant to live. And so not only from that going like it has to be different, I also decided to be intentional about how I would use my time and talents to make the world a better place. And so, I didn't write this book because I have completely mastered rest. I still have to use my framework constantly to do it.
Yes.
But I wrote it because I was chasing leadership titles and really just
Mm.
realized that rest was not a luxury, it was a survival strategy.
Whoa, rest is not a luxury. It is a survival strategy. That is so powerful. I'm just making sure everyone that we are live, that they can join us in here. We are live on YouTube and LinkedIn and also Facebook. So come on in, tell us where you're watching us from. We'll be looking in the comments here in a little bit. But Dr. Erin, I love the way you reframe boldness. So many people believe you have to wait until you are fearless to step out. And that is the one thing I've been addressing, as I told you later, across all my social media platforms. And you and I have literally, we keep finding more ways, as we even spoke about our own platforms, to become more fearless. You
Yes.
say that boldness starts with clarity, not courage. Oh, and that's the same thing I've been saying. So
It
she's gonna reinforce something only she can. Can you share what shifted for you when you discovered that courage over clarity? Or is it clarity
absolutely.
over courage? Am I saying no?
To
It's
to me, it's
boldness starts
clarity
where
over
clarity is, and not courage. Yeah.
it's 100% clarity over courage, right?
Yes.
Understanding what you're called to do will help
Come
you
on.
move even when you're shaking in your boots, right?
Ooh,
It
yes.
should. You have everything you need in order to move forward. The difference between people who have something that you see that maybe is something that you want or have a goal in mind to do, one of the biggest things that separates people from that
Hmm.
is inaction, right?
Ooh,
We have
yes.
gotten into a space where we feel like just because people have moved or are doing or are creating, that they are somehow braver than us, right?
Yes.
And I would dare to say that they're not, but they are being bolder than maybe you are sitting in your
Yeah.
inaction in this
Right.
moment, right? It doesn't mean, and we talked about this, just because you move forward doesn't mean that it's going to be perfect. But there's somewhere along the lines that people stop believing in the fact that we've got experience, we've got talent, knowledge, and that helps us understand what our strengths are, so that even when we move into spaces that we're unfamiliar with, we've got things in our backpack of tools to help us work our way through, even if we hit a mountain, even if we need
Yes.
to repair the street to get across, even if we need to create a bridge. So we can't be fearful. We have to realize that it doesn't require us to be brave to be bold, right? If
Right.
something doesn't exist that you want to have, for me, I knew that I love sharing knowledge with people and I love sharing
Yes.
it live so that I can interact with folks. So I said, oh, nobody's handing me a show. So let me go over to YouTube and make one, right? And that's
But
how that's
come
how
on.
exactly. That's how Power Nap Live over on YouTube. I do that every Sunday, 10 o'clock
Yes.
Central Standard Time, literally live. And we're creating a little community over there of people around strategic rest and around leadership and around emotional intelligence. But
Right.
that took action. It took me hitting record in order for it to happen, right? So you do
Exactly.
not have to be brave. This is one of the things that you say a lot, is that if I have to sign the permission slip for for you, right? I
This
am
is it.
doing that. But this is both of us. This is me
Yes.
as well as Elisa
Right.
signing your permission slip to not have to be brave in order to take
Yes.
that first bold step towards the life that you want to live.
You have to. And intentionality is so important behind you being able to accomplish what it is you say you want. And there's, like, I always talk about having that little toolbox. And today, Dr. Erin is reinforcing what I've been talking about recently is clarity. Clarity. And I love that she says clarity over courage.
Yes.
That is something that you're never going to have enough courage because number one, imposter syndrome is going to try to slow you down. Sometimes FOMO is going to try to slow you down. The fear of missing out. Like, okay, if I start doing a podcast, I'm going to miss, Sunday dinners. I'm going to miss baseball games. And I understand, but you can strike a balance because if you have clarity that you are called to have this YouTube or this podcast or maybe this writing this book, then everything else, if you start to figure out how to move in the direction of that, I promise you things will fall into place. But you got to make sacrifices. So, Dr. Erin, here's a question I have for you.
Sure.
What does clarity look like in practice for leaders and entrepreneurs who feel stuck? What does that really look like?
Oh, that's a fantastic question that I get asked a lot, right? So I
Yes.
often get people who go, Erin, Dr. Erin, like, I want to talk to you. I want to jump into the consulting space, right? And I go, come on, there's plenty of water out here in the pool for all of us, right?
Uh-huh.
But the first question that I ask them, right, is who are you talking to?
Ooh.
Now, most people go, oh, I want to help everybody. I love everybody. I've got information that can help anybody. So I'm willing to do that. And as soon as people say that, I go, figure out who you're talking to. And then I'm happy to help you after that. Right? Then reschedule the
Ooh.
meeting. We can talk at a later date. But until you know who you are talking to, then it really does become incredibly hard for you to have clarity, right? For me,
Wow.
I know that I am talking to leaders who have not yet understood how to tap into the unique skills, the unique strengths that they have. For me, it was life changing to understand the positive psychology of understanding that I didn't have to be good at everything. Right?
Wow.
I
Yes.
only
Exactly.
needed to be fantastic at the things that I'm naturally great at, and I could build
Mhm.
a life, a career around that. Right? And
Yes.
so that's incredibly important for people to be able to do. So if you're a leader who's looking for that, then we're going to have fantastic conversations. If you're
Right.
someone who is high performing, but feels like literally there's steam about to come out of your ears because you're about to burn out, then I'm
Yes.
someone that you would talk to about how to integrate strategic rest into your life so that you have the space to do the things that you want to do and show up as the best version of yourself, right? So
Right.
outside of that, if those are not the people, then you've got to know who you're talking to, or you're just yelling out into an abyss, right?
Yes.
So that's the first stage. Who are you talking to? Who do you want to help? Who, if they hear your message about your experience, is the person that will be transformed? And for folks like us, I know this because we talked about
You
it.
touch.
If
Yes.
if there's one leader out there, for me, if there's one leader that hears my message saying, listen, I'm not saying you have to be good at everything, but you need to be good at the unique skill, the unique strengths that have been given to you. And that
You.
sometimes they're hard for us to see what they look like. I do a fantastic session called Leaning into Your Strengths and have done it for corporations, teams, universities. I literally just left Goodwill. We were talking to some of their leaders yesterday and did this
Yes.
session for them around maximizing their leadership through understanding their unique skills and then through strategic rest, right? So
Uh-huh.
one of the examples that I always give them is when I'm in the car, right?
Uh-huh.
Immediately when I get in my car, I do two things. I put on my seatbelt, safety first, right?
Yes,
And then no matter what, even if I know where I'm going, I still plug the address into a GPS, right? Now,
exactly.
now for most people, they would go, "Oh, are you doing that to look at what the traffic looks like? Are you wayfinding? What does that seem like?" But for me, it's for one critical piece of information: how long it'll take me to get there,
Take
the
me to get
time.
there.
I want to
Yes,
know the time. So for
yes.
me, if it says that it's going to be 8:24 when I get there, I go, "Oh, I can do that in 8:22." Right?
Right?
Now, most people wouldn't see that as something that it is, but it's honestly one of my skills of strategy. There are many people who
Mm-hmm.
are listening to this that would go, "I don't care about that." My husband is one of those people. When he gets in the car, he just drives, right?
La
There's
la
no
la 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 la.
strategy.
He's
He's not
enjoying his ride. Yes.
exact. He's just driving. He's vibing. He's listening to music. He is just driving. He's not thinking about, "Oh, is this car trying to get in front of me? What if I take this other street here? Will this shave off time?" But I am. And even from
Yeah.
that tiny life thing, it allowed me to understand one of my skills that has allowed me to make six figures in my consulting firm, right? It's
Right.
allowed me to be fantastic when I worked in corporate and when I worked in higher ed and when I worked in nonprofit. I am a
Right.
strategist no matter where I am. So it's important for leaders, it's important for leaders, for women, for anybody to unlock what their unique skills are. And that's who I am. And I have clarity in that. So to me,
Yes.
every other entrepreneur should seek to have clarity about who you are helping, who you're talking
Right.
to.
That's exactly it. And that's, I'll say, what I found in my journey, and a lot of entrepreneurs or intended business professionals, and even individuals coming out of college looking for work, is they're not sure where or who they want to serve, what group and which area they want to be in, and they get overwhelmed by it a lot. What do you say to, let's speak specifically to entrepreneurs, because entrepreneurship is at an all-time high across the globe, and statistics is showing that women of color across the globe are responsible for the largest, number one, women, and then women as a subsection, women of color as a subsection of women, that are even higher numbers that are starting businesses. What is responsible for that level of clarity, that women are able to step into space and know who to serve? Speak to the woman and the woman of color, since we represent that demographic so well, that is like, I really want to start my consulting, I really want to do coaching, I really want to go out there and start a healthcare business, but I don't know who or how I even know who I should serve. What do you tell her?
So the first thing that I would say, right, is for me it was important to find something that brought me joy so that it never
Mm.
felt like work. Even the
Oh, I
moments that
love
I
that.
wasn't getting paid for, there were times. Now I can charge people thousands of dollars to
Right?
go and talk
Exactly.
and to go and to consult and to come and do engaging and phenomenal sessions with my effervescent energy, right? But
Right? Exactly.
some of my first payments were Starbucks cards,
Come
right? And I
on.
was
Well, you
excited
loved
about
it
that.
though. You felt on top of the world though.
See, I said I can't believe somebody's paying me in cappuccino. in
Even
a
tell them what I already know and I've been knowing.
Correct. And to get this feeling. There have been times
Yes.
there have been times where I have not felt well before I did a session, and the energy that comes to me when I'm helping people have these light bulb moments and presenting feels like nothing I can even completely explain to people, right? So the
I hear
first
it.
thing is, what is bringing you joy? And one of the things that I have to talk about specifically, especially when we're talking to women of color, is we tend to be good at a lot of stuff. Okay. A lot of
Yes,
it.
you do.
And
Yes.
the noise of being good at multitasking, being good at all the things, is that it's hard to narrow down onto what you actually are called to do. right?
Yeah.
I know that I'm called to tell people about how they can transform their lives around emotional intelligence, having a high level of relationship intelligence, to me, even deeper than emotional intelligence, having people literally understand that they don't have to have the same strengths as me in order to be incredibly successful, and that you find spaces that lend to the strengths that you have. And then also saying, pauses are powerful, right? Those are the three things. And each of those conversations, no matter who it's with, bring me joy, whether I hear my bank account go cha-ching or not, right?
Yeah. I
Now,
love
do
that.
I prefer the cha-ching? Yes. Okay.
Absolutely.
Do I prefer the
Absolutely.
high cha-ching? Absolutely, right? We're not here, I'm not gonna cap, okay, as the young folks would say. But
Yes.
I am gonna say that even sometimes when my conversations are pro bono, right? Or there's an organization where the women need to hear, or whoever needs to hear the message that I have, and I do it for something that doesn't necessarily fit exactly what most people pay for it,
Yes.
I'm invigorated. It's what pours back into me. So
Nothing
that is
like it.
where to start, right? What are the things that you talk about, that you do, that you love, that you want to share, that are part of what you're called to do? And the way to know that is how you feel when it's happening. If no one
Mm,
pays you a cent to do it, you would still do it. You'd still love it. You still be
yeah.
happy that you're living in a moment where you get to do that. And to me, that is the first step. And honestly, one of the largest steps, because once you know that, then do it.
Exactly. Oh, I love that. So, so powerful. So much strategy. I told you all it's going to be power packed and there's going to be a lot of gems. I hope you have your notepads. I know there are quite a few of you checking in on LinkedIn. Just put something in the chat because at the end, we're definitely going to check in. If you have questions wherever you're watching, we're going to check to see for those to give Dr. Erin a couple of Q&A. She'll answer a couple of questions before we
Sure.
go. But let me ask you this. What is one mindset trap you find people fall into a lot when they're trying to be bold that actually that kind of, when they're where do we get stuck? And I know I have some when they're trying to be bold, but it still is kind of holding you back. One of the things with me, Dr. Erin, it's like I would get stuck around analysis paralysis. And I wrote
Mhm.
about that last week because that was one of the places where I stuck. I would be like, okay, so, everything in excellence. I use the word excellence, but I say that nothing is wrong with that. That's perfect.
Yeah.
But for someone who's moving into the space of their purpose, which is sometimes a lot of times new territory, it's more entrepreneurial, there's risk involved. That is actually more perfectionist. And it's
Yes.
actually a way of holding myself back and delaying getting out in front of what it is I'm supposed to be doing. So, what are some of those other things that people find themselves in that mindset loop that's really holding them back from being bold and stepping out that you see that you can help us move through?
Absolutely. Listen, I just had a conversation with someone who had the mindset that I'm about to say right now, right? And it's
Uh-huh.
one that to me is not unique because I've had this conversation over and
Over
over
and
and
over, right?
over, right?
Yeah.
It is, oh, I need to get this certification, or I need to have this, or I don't have enough years of, or
Mm,
maybe if I wait one more year, then people will. Stop, right?
stop it.
Stop
Yes.
it. There are other people around you who every day you consume their content, you read their books, you see them on TV, that never
Yes.
worried once about whether or not they were qualified to tell you the information that they are
And they're
telling you.
telling you it's just their experience
It's just their
for one
experience.
time.
It's just their experience. So what
Yes,
discounts you from not just sharing your experience, right? There are people
exactly.
out there who are waiting to hear your experience. We are in a space, in a place where we have the opportunity for there to be many ways for people to lock in to just your experience. You said this to me just a little while ago, and so I want to share it because it really did inspire me that the way you say it may be the way that someone else needs to hear it, even though 1,000 people are saying it.
Yes. Yes,
May
absolutely. I stand behind it.
Exactly. It is the same. It's it's so important to understand that you may be the vessel in which
That's right.
someone needs to be poured into, and that your message is important. I have to tell people all the time because they're always scared. Oh, what if I don't, somebody else is already doing this? And I go,
Yes.
okay, does that mean there's no more real estate? People can follow more than one person, they can have more
Come
than one.
on. There's so much. There's 8 billion plus people on the planet.
And
And
they
there's
can
there's just a
like
few of us who are actually even bold enough to speak, because that is the
exact
biggest fear. People fear speaking more than death.
yes. And
So open your mouth.
open your mouth. And there it is, right? There is the clarity and there is the boldness that I'm calling people to do, right? Calling entrepreneurs to be bold, because that's what's required in this
Yes.
season for sure. That's what's required to get out here and to be. I do this every day, scared. And we're talking to someone I love a good lifestyle, okay?
Right? Come
you
on. You and me
your
too. We're
girl,
both Libras.
I
If we don't already look like twins, we were already born like pretty much the same day. So we're
listen.
Libras.
I had to be incredibly bold to walk away from a W-2 that was hitting my page, hitting my bank account every 2 weeks, that allowed for me to get all of the things that I wanted to get, to live where I wanted
Yes.
to live, to drive where I wanted to drive. And fortunately, I have a fantastic, and we talked about that too,
Yes.
support system through
Yes.
my phenomenal husband.
Yes.
But walking away from that was
That
one
was
of
still a security blanket
it
for sure.
was the scariest, one of the scariest things I have ever experienced in my life. And the scare didn't stop just because I walked out, just because I said bye to the people. It happens every day, but I always choose to be bold. I choose to show up as the best version of myself. I choose to give the best product and the best sessions to every last one of my clients who believe in the work that I do and call me in to their corporation to talk to their teams, call me into their universities to talk to their students and their staff people. I show up and do absolutely my best and know that it's the thing that's going to continue to carry me forward. But if you never walk into those spaces, then how do you ever how do you ever get what you're trying to get, right?
You gotta
And
move.
it's
You gotta
scary.
move.
One of the things that people to me don't talk about enough, and that's why it's important for us to talk about as people who are entrepreneurs and moving further into that space, is that one of the things for me, especially about 2 months in, right? Things were going really well for me. Clients were coming, all of those different things. So it wasn't like I was lacking the financial reinforcement of walking away from my job. But one of the things that had me so, oh my good, had me on the floor of my office, laying on my carpet, going like, did
Ooh.
I do the right thing? Was literally that I had gotten so used to, right? The privileges of being fantastic at my job, where people would let me come and go as I please and do all of these different things, that
Yes.
I had started to go, well, what if I go back to that feel good, that safety, right? What if I go
Mm,
back to allowing people to tell me what I can do with my time? What if I go back to the ceiling? Because there's only a certain amount that you can make
yes.
when you work for other people, but for me, the limit
It's a
is
ceiling.
endless, right? But I had to
Come on.
sacrifice the feeling of safety for the feeling of
Mm.
boldness, and that's what has paid off for me.
That's what bought you your freedom, because now you have your time. you get to decide where you go, when you go. You can be in Boston, you can be in South Africa, you
Absolutely.
can be in the UK, you can be in
Absolutely.
Arizona, doing
Absolutely.
exactly what you love to do, but on your own terms. No one
On
is telling you you can't say this and you can't say that. You get
Absolutely.
to do, and that's the price of freedom. Do it
It's
while
the
your
price.
knees are shaking. Do it
It's the
while your
price.
voice is shaking. It's the price, but it's
It's the
worth it.
price.
That's what you're telling
But
us.
it's worth every cent that you pay for it. And it is scary.
Mm.
Freedom is scary. When
Ooh.
did we start thinking freedom wasn't scary?
And it ain't free.
It ain't free either.
You gotta buy your freedom.
Freedom ain't free. If you don't hear anything else today, freedom ain't free
Ain't
and it
free.
ain't
Come on.
safe. It is scary.
Yes.
Freedom is
Yes.
scary and
And
it
two
ain't
doctors just
free.
said ink because it ain't. This is not
Exactly. We
something
gonna
you say not.
because
This
I
is an
know
ink situation.
freedom is not free and it is not without fear. Okay.
No,
But it's
that's the price. You
okay
gotta
to
trade with him.
experience fear. It's natural to experience fear. We should. Often on
Yes.
the other side of fear is some of the most phenomenal experiences that we will ever experience. Some of the most
Yes.
amazing pieces of your work coming to fruition are on the other side of the fear that you feel. And I don't even want to say the other side. I never not feel
It's right
fearful.
in there. It's like a part of the soup. It's like an ingredient. Because if you're growing and going higher in what it is
Yes.
you're called to do, you're going to be
Yes.
afraid at every level, on different ways, on different days, for different things. Just get
Yes.
used to it. It's like I'm used to feeling
Yes.
that pit in my stomach. And if I don't feel, I'm like, should I be doing
Yes.
this? This feels awkward.
And
Something ain't right.
I would even go deeper than that. If you stop feeling fear, you're not pushing yourself
Good for
toward
enough.
you're not pushing yourself hard enough. You're not
Absolutely. It
even
doesn't mean that it's not, we're not talking about the trauma response. Okay.
yes,
We're talking about you being in a comfort zone. Because if
correct.
you're not feeling fear, if you don't feel like it's uncomfortable, if you don't feel like it's challenging, if you feel like, oh my God, what if I completely suck? What if I completely feel? You are in a comfort zone. And as Dr. Kareem R. Ellis say, hey, Dr. Kareem, hey, only dead things fit in comfort zones. That's a casket. And they comfortable as ever up in there, but they ain't going nowhere. I mean, you know what dead things do? They're just dead.
They're
So
just
that's the
there.
only time as an entrepreneur, as a leader, as a strategic innovator, you're going to be not feeling fear. So get used to
Correct.
it. It's part of the formula. It's a secret
Yes.
sauce to the Oprah Winfrey's, to the um
Yes.
Elon Musk of the world.
Yes.
Let me tell you something. Those guys, those gals, they are great because they didn't wait to have all the courage. They just had clarity. And here's the thing,
Yes.
Erin, if you don't mind me taking it this, when it comes to
Mhm.
clarity, please know it's not clarity about where you're going to be in the next 10 years and exactly how you're going to get there. Please,
Correct.
that is not what Dr. Erin and I are saying. We
Correct.
are saying that you're going to have clarity about who you're going to serve and that you need to serve them.
And that you
Oops,
need to serve them.
that's
Absolutely.
it. That's it.
That's the clarity. That's it, period. And I would even add to that, you know who you are, right? I
You know
know
who
what
you
I
are.
bring. When
You
people
know who you
ask
are
for
and why you are.
yes, and whose, depending on what you
When you
believe,
believe
right?
you, who's who, and what and why.
Okay. But I know, and that's to me why it's important for you to have a phenomenal network is too, as you get to know people, right? Because as soon
Yes.
as someone goes outside of something that doesn't match what my
Hmm.
excellent skills are, the skills that
Ooh,
I'm
come on.
saying are the things that are unique to me and natural to me and that I am excellent at, I go, I
Yes.
love that you trusted me with this conversation, but I have a fabulous consultant colleague over here that let me
Yes.
connect you guys to do that specific work, right?
Yes.
So the
Absolutely.
clarity, 100%, you're absolutely right. The clarity we're talking about is understanding who you are serving, who are you talking to, who's your end user, right? And then
Mhm.
how you can use your strengths to serve those folks. After that,
Yes.
pivoting will be incredibly important for you to thrive, right? Because we don't
Yes.
want to just survive in our businesses. We want to thrive in the
Yes.
businesses that we decide to do, because people can literally feel that.
Yes.
When I go and do facilitations and sessions with people, one of the things that I get the most when people come, of course they go, "Oh, I had the best time. We laughed. That went so fast. I was not looking forward to doing professional development training, and this hours felt like minutes because you're that fantastic," right? But one of
Yes.
the things that people come to me and say, and that's the one that hits me the hardest, is, "I can tell that you love this."
Oh, yes.
And if when you are doing the work that you do, no matter where, I'm going to even say, even if you're doing it for a W-2 at this point,
Come
right?
on. At the yes.
At
Yes.
this
Because I've been
point,
there.
right?
Mhm.
Okay, because that's up to you whenever you decide to make that, to choose bravery, right? And sometimes you don't have
Right.
to. Both of us are people who
We've
hybrid
done
it.
both. Yes.
I
For
hybrid. I didn't
years.
just jump straight out. I had clients.
Come
I
on.
I set myself up for success. So I was hybrid
Yes.
for a very long time. For 5 years, I owned my consulting firm before I decided to
Leave the
jump
W2
off
world.
into
Hmm.
the entrepreneur space full time. But if people can't tell, especially in a space where you get to create, that you
Yes.
love what you do, then maybe that
Yes.
ain't it. Maybe that's not
Come
that. Maybe that's why it hasn't worked out for you.
worked out for you because you're only because here's the thing, and Dr. Aaron, we talked about this before we got on the podcast about people just only taking guidance from what they see in mainstream media and not going with the intuitive guidance of what God has called them to do and
Mm,
how he's called them to show up in
yes.
this season. And
Yes.
that's the thing about uniqueness. Like, there's no one that pulls a note the way Mariah does. Even
Yes.
though Whitney goes high and Mariah goes high, you know the difference between a Mariah and a Whitney because
Yes.
they're too busy being Whitney when it's time for Whitney and Mariah when it's time to be Mariah. And we
Yes.
love them both. And we
Yes.
spend money to go both their concerts and
Yes.
buy their CDs because
Yes.
there's enough people. But when the only reason they are doing so well, and I speak as Whitney's still with us, the only reason they have done so well is because they were walking in their version of music and
Correct.
singing.
Correct.
they
There.
they did that, and so you got to do that. You can't worry about what's trending. Yes, there's
Yes.
certain business strategies that you tools you might use that other people are using, but the minute you start trying to be an Erin or an Elisa, you're
Yes.
going to lose track. You can't say,
Yes.
oh, Elisa's doing podcasts about mindset, it must be that it's so great, so I'm going to do mindset. No, you're not. You want to understand what is the formula Elisa is using to get her podcast in front of so many people and attract international guests who are impacting at high levels, high achieving, multimillionaire levels, six
Yes.
figure levels. You want to understand the formula. You don't want to worry about what I'm talking about. You don't even want to worry who I'm talking to because maybe you need to talk about how to make a sneakers clean. Maybe you need to talk about how to cook a pot of jumbo, the five
Yes.
and 100 ways how to cook a pot of jumbo. And you talk about that on podcasts till you don't have no more to teach. And now you're talking about how to make chicken feet soup. And I know that sounds gross, but in the Caribbean, we love chicken feet soup. God darn it. What I'm saying is be you, understand formula, not copycatting. That's the
Absolutely.
problem.
Absolutely. And that ties in so well, because that is the work that I do with leaders and teams. For some
Talk to
reason,
us about it.
we've been tricked into thinking that we have to follow a blueprint for the way that success exists, right?
Bring
And
that.
And it's just not the case. There are things that you should look over into somebody else's lane, learn and glean, but
Mhm.
ultimately stay in your lane. I talked about that literally last week on my pod. I mean, on my, you making me say
Yep,
podcast because that's the
it
case.
is your
But
podcast.
on my
Yes,
YouTube show, which will now be a podcast, of course, because Doc told me I got to move into that space.
you got to move
But
into podcast.
I literally talked about that, staying in your lane. It's okay to peek over
Mhm.
and see, because sometimes that keeps you safe. You learn things from looking, but your lane
Yes.
is your lane. And oftentimes, if we're spending so much time trying to look into other people's lanes and see what they're doing, we miss time building who we are. People bring
Yes.
me in to do sessions because my brand of energy, my excitement, my knowledge is mine. Erin is the only one
Yes.
who can do that because I'm uniquely Erin, right? And so
Yes.
helping leaders understand what they do uniquely and then take that to levels of excellence is what assessments that I use, like core strengths, or total SDI, through my consulting firm. That's what it does, helping you understand.
Ooh.
And then ultimately moving it into how do you create and use your relationships to leverage those to get the results that you want. Do you understand how you are motivated so that you're able to advocate for yourself in spaces? Do you know how you experience conflict, right? Because lots of people don't, and most people don't even know the difference between conflict and opposition, which is one of the things that I talk to leaders about.
Ooh.
What are your
Come on.
strengths, and how do people perceive some of your strengths when you overdo them? Those are all things that I talk about with my executive coaching clients, and specifically with corporations, universities, and teams all across the country. Because self-awareness is one of
Mm.
the most important strategies we have. And I truly believe that
Yes.
self-awareness is also one of the pieces that allows you to jump into that bravery piece,
Come
as
on.
you're moving forward.
Oh, I love that. I love the way you serve, and that was what was so attractive about your work when we first connected.
Yeah.
Um, and I was like, this needs to go as far as it can. So if you all are listening here, we do have Dr. Erin's website. You can check it out here at designidealconsulting.com already and see how you want to connect with her. Dr. Erin, let's talk about that
Sure.
strategic rest as a leadership tool, because this is fascinating to me. I haven't met anyone who is focused who this is one of their focus areas to help leaders grow. You've challenged that hustle mindset in such a refreshing way. You talk about rest as not a reward, but as a competitive advantage, right? That
Absolutely.
is absolutely powerful. Why do you believe rest is one of the most overlooked leadership strategies today?
Well, here's the thing, right? Strategic rest is kind of, to me, is what happens when ambition meets wisdom. Okay.
Ambition meets wisdom.
When
Got it.
ambition meets wisdom, that's exactly what it is, right? So I, s- I shared a little bit of my story when we started this, right? I was chasing titles. It literally made me ill, right? For folks who missed
Mm,
it, I literally had a stress induced seizure because I was staying late, coming in early. Y'all have heard the stories, you've seen them. You're related to people who have shared that same story as the Black
yes.
woman who is doing it all, right? So I don't have to
Right.
retell you that information. But
Exactly.
what I started to see is that a couple things: people who had access to more wealth than me were people who
Hmm.
vacationed and took their time to do things when they needed to do it. They optimized
Wow.
getting time back because they knew how precious it was, and understanding that
Hmm.
downtime is important for you to be able to have clarity and creativity to come up with the next phase,
Yes.
the next stage, the next wonderful idea that will be the thing that pushes you into the next space. I
Yes.
worked for a phenomenal boss. And one of the things that I started to notice about her is that she did two key things that allowed her to be able to me practice what I didn't know at the time until myself, Dr. Kelly Dixon, and I wrote this book
Hey,
together.
Dr. Kelly.
Yes, shout out to her. Until we wrote this book, had named it Strategic Rest, but I saw her use that as a leadership strategy. When she was not at work, she took her time off. She made sure that she hired people who were experts in what they did, so that all she had to do was to remove roadblocks from us. When she was gone, she didn't stress about what was going on there. She was enjoying her time away. And whenever she would come back, she would pull us all together and go, these are the things I thought about while I was gone. Right?
Oh, she didn't call y'all while she was there.
No, she would be
love that for us.
On her vacation. When she would come back, she would pull us into a meeting or the next meeting that we would have. And she goes, let me tell y'all about some of the things that I thought about while I was away. And the ideas, the wealth of knowledge she would come back with, because she literally took time to step away, allowed her to build such successful departments. People would come to her and go, how do I do this? Or can we put this with your department because we know it will thrive? And I watched this woman who did this have a 40-year span career and be one of the most decorated kind of higher education individuals around the country. People knew her name in rooms everywhere. And I watched her do it. And it came from her actually taking time to think strategically. And the way she did that was through rest, right? It was literally her competitive edge. And I'm over here going, I'm working, but I never have time to even think about what the next thing is, to think about my next business idea, to think about what I'm even going to be bold about, right? Because I'm just running. So for us, and especially Dr. Dixon and I, when we wrote this book together, it was literally born out of us looking for ways to experience rest, right? We had a Zoom conversation. And I was like, I'm exhausted. Like, what are people out here doing? She was like, me too, right? And so we were like, we need to hold each other accountable. We need to be resting so we can do things. And so that it was born out of us monthly having a mastermind, right, around how we were taking care of ourselves. And we started to see that we were able to do so many more things, even though we were starting to schedule the way we rested. And that helped us write our book. And we wanted other people to experience what that looks like. So we wrote the NAP framework, which is
the NAP framework.
The NAP framework. I know, that's so cute. Every time I say it, it makes me smile because it's so cute. We're so creative. I love it. But
I love it. And I have to get me a copy of it because I love naps. Listen.
You know. Me too, right? And if a nap is the way that you feel most rested, then that's phenomenal. But what we discovered is that there's other ways to feel rested that are not necessarily sleep, right? And that by using our framework, the NAP framework, which is nurture, I'll tell you a little bit about it. So the N stands for nurture. And that's really about nurturing not only your body, but also like your mind and your boundaries so that you're able to sustain your leadership energy. Okay. Or your energy period is what that nurture piece is about. And we found in that space that, yes, of course, taking naps, if that's or sleeping the right amount of hours is fantastic. But we also found two other areas in there. The first one was, well, not necessarily the first one, but one of them was actually creating communities, right? Around
I love that.
Rest and having a community. How many people, I know you have, if you're listening to this, you have been exhausted on the weekend, but you hook up with your favorite person, like me now with Dr. with Dr. Elisa, okay? I feel so
couldn't even get started.
We laughed and talked. We couldn't even, y'all, we were supposed to tape this hours ago and be gone. but we were just chatting and I got so much energy from what we were
Yes, we
doing, right?
did. Two live
So
wires we are.
yes. So if you're not surrounding yourself in a community where you're able to be around people that also, when you hook up with them, when you vibe with them, even just sitting sometimes in the same place with them, working on your goals or whatever it is, that you're not
Yes,
gleaning energy. The
come
second
on.
piece of that is learning. Oftentimes we undervalue that learning can be a huge part of how we can feel rested, right?
Yes.
I went to a DJ class a few months ago. I was telling somebody about
No,
that. And
you did it. I love that.
I was in
You're
there like
fired.
DJ Duchess. Okay.
Oh, what? I love it.
And before I went, I was feeling like, I was like, oh, why did I sign up to do this on the weekend? Like, I wanted to rest and all kind of stuff. The minute I got in there, the music started, I started to learn about, first of all, if there's any DJs in this, in the chat, please let us
Please
know.
put it in the chat.
Drop an
Yes, I'm
emoji
looking
because
for it. Yes.
y'all's job is hard work. Okay.
Oh, you got
But
the respect for the DJ. I never attempted it, but it looks
it
fun.
is tough. I don't know how they do it. And the people come up and request stuff and they're listening to like the RMPs and all kinds of stuff. I'm probably saying that wrong. But whatever the case is, it gave me such a respect in a learning situation. And so learning, is there something that you want to know? Google it, right? And just go down a rabbit hole of learning. But that can also help you feel rested, right? So it's also about finding the ways that work for you. For some people, it's working out. For me, it's finding me a nice little luxury spa. Sometimes it's just doing a staycation up the street, doing in a hotel and figuring out the next stage of what I'm going to do in my business or how I'm going to support the people the leaders who I do work for all the time. But for you,
Yes.
what is it, right? How do you do it? Through your
Yes.
community, through other people? How do you do it? Through learning? And how do you do it? By taking care of your energy, okay? So that's
Right.
nurture. So then next is assess. Okay. The A is for
Mm.
assess. And that's
Sis.
really
Yes.
one of the things that a lot of us don't do well is assessing
Mm.
what's working and what's not working.
Not working. Yeah.
We keep
Yeah.
pushing sometimes way further than we should be pushing it, and it makes us fall right off the cliff. Right?
Yes.
So we need to
Yes.
be having real conversations with ourselves, and that's what you do in the NAP framework, to ask yourself and assess what's working, what's not working, because self-awareness is really the gateway to transformation. It truly
Oh,
is,
yes,
right?
it is. Yes, it is.
And then finally, after you nurture, after you assess and really ask yourself assess what's working, what's not working, really, heighten that self-awareness piece, it's time for you to prioritize, right? So
Mm.
prioritize your well-being, even the way that you prioritize your goals, but you have to do that strategically as well as consistently, right?
Yes,
And
I
it's a
love it.
cycle. You consistently do that all the time, asking yourself and using the NAP framework to help you decide each of those pieces, because we wanted other people to have a simple, easy way in order to be able to understand how to add that strategic rest practice into their life so they can maximize their leadership and their life and what ultimately they're called to do.
Yes. Ooh, I love it. The NAP framework is fire. If you're watching us live, put some fire emojis in the chat. We'll be checking it out later. NAP framework, you're ready. And also remember, you can catch Dr. Erin every Sunday. Is it Dr. Erin?
That's right. Every
On her
Sunday on
YouTube channel.
10
Yes.
a.m. Central Standard Time. But even if you can't watch it live, the playback is always there in the live tab. Come check me out. Give me some good comments in there. But we've got a little community building around strategic rest, and we'd love to have you be a part of that.
Yes, and we have the YouTube handle wherever you're listening or watching into the podcast. We have it up on screen right now. It's at Nap Power Nap Live. That's our
That's
YouTube
right.
channel. Just go there. If you're watching this on YouTube, just go ahead and subscribe right now, and let
Right.
us know
Yeah.
that you've been watching us here on Mindset Mastery Moments. Dr. Erin, one of the things you mentioned a little bit earlier that I want to bring us back to is the relationship intelligent piece when you talk about it as a leader's superpower. I love this because success often rises or falls on the quality of our relationships, right?
Yeah.
How has relationship intelligence changed the way you lead, and how can it help others if they're listening to us now and they want to understand that?
Absolutely. One of the most important, I would say, when people go, "Oh, how are you doing all of these things? How do you make all this stuff happen?" I tell people one of my top three things, right? I would say
Uh-huh.
strategic rest, of course, right? But one of the
Yes.
second biggest heavy hitter tools for myself is my ability to leverage relationship intelligence. Okay. So, in its
Mhm.
simplest form, relationships with people are connections, right?
Right.
But we actually walk the world with people who are motivated in seven, according to this assessment that I absolutely love. It's called Total SDI. And if you're interested in taking that assessment and finding out how you're motivated, how you experience conflict, your top skills, and even how people may perceive your top skills done overdone, please don't hesitate to reach out to me at my website or either on LinkedIn, wherever you'd like. Let me know, and I'm happy to help you get your hands on that so you can know exactly, right? But
Right.
here we are motivated in a in a combination of three different ways. Okay, so
Okay.
most people are motivated either through performance,
Mm.
process, or people. Okay,
Mm.
so I myself am motivated by a blend. That was the word that I was looking for. So each of us have a
Yes.
blend of all
Yes.
three of those, but some are
Yes.
higher and some are lower, right? So for
Okay.
me, I have a close equal blend, and that's exactly what this total SDI assessment will tell you with performance and process. Right. So you probably
Ah.
see that I'm always talking about getting it done, but I have a literally strategic way and process in order to do it, right? Now,
Right.
let me tell you why this is incredibly important through an example of myself when I was working back in higher education. Okay. So I was a senior leader in higher education, and one of the people that worked for me, I had never experienced anyone who didn't enjoy working for me. Now, if there's somebody out there who's worked for me and you didn't enjoy, this is not your time to come
You're
and
the
let us
problem.
know. Okay. But for the
No,
most
they were
part,
the problem. If you
okay,
don't enjoy working with a Libra, you're the problem. I'm
you
sorry.
are the problem. Okay.
Period.
So I would dare say that most people that have worked for me have enjoyed that experience, right? Mostly because I
Yes.
try to be a boss that goes, or a supervisor that goes, tell me what you want to do and let's get you experiences to help you move to that next piece. My job as a leader and as a supervisor has always been to remove roadblocks and to treat people like they're experts in their lane so they can do what they need to do. And so that's how I rock and roll, and people usually vibe with that so well, right? Okay.
Yes.
Well, fast forward to one of my senior leadership roles, and I had someone who worked for me that I was like, I don't understand why this is not working. I do not enjoy working with this person. She does not get where I'm coming from. I don't understand, right? So
Right.
enter this assessment that several of us were taking. So total SDI came into my life at that time period. So we took the assessment, and it clearly showed me why she did not understand any of the words. Who was that? I think it was Chris Tucker. Was that him who said, do you understand any of the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Coming out of
Because
my
that
mouth. Yeah. No, you,
she
I
did she
not
would
get it.
not understand any of the words that were coming out of my mouth. And it became super clear to me that the reason that she wasn't is because she was motivated by a high blend of people. And I was
Mm.
motivated by an incredibly low blend of people.
Of
So every
people.
time I would
Wow.
explain to her why we needed to do something, I would say it because we're trying to be the best department. We're trying to be the best university. We're trying to create the blueprint for how other people would do this. When the whole time I needed to be painting the picture for her about how this impacted people.
People. You guys were speaking, you're speaking Dutch, she's speaking French, and that's the only languages you know.
100%.
Nobody's communication is not happening.
100%. It would be going, her little eyes would just glaze over,
Glaze.
and that would be what happened. Once I was armed with that tool, which is why it's transformational for the
Yes.
universities, for the corporations, for the teams that I use it for, they have these huge aha moments because they go, oh my goodness, the whole time I've been talking to you like this when I needed to be telling it to this, from this
Right.
motivation
Right.
system, right? So once I
Right.
started to talk with her and go, hey, I want to do this project because it'll impact students in this way, she went from someone who I was 2 minutes from firing to one of my favorite employees
Most
that I
cooperative employees. Yes.
ever worked with. Even still now, she reaches
Yeah.
out and goes, the things that you taught me have helped me be amazing in these new roles that I have, since we don't, work,
Yeah.
neither one of us work at that same place anymore. But
Right.
it's so important for us to understand that people are motivated differently. And once we're able to unlock that, even about our own selves, we can advocate for ourselves in the projects we do better, the spaces, the jobs that you literally apply for. You're like, hey, will I be doing things that allow me to really be in my bag,
Again.
right? Than things that are
Yes.
outside of that. And then it also changed the way that I understood conflict, right? That
Big
the
deal.
such a big deal. Think about relationships, right? Some of the best relationships that we have, the ones that are our strongest, have experienced conflict. But we've been
Yes.
able to walk our way back from that conflict because ironically, we actually only experience conflict when our motivation value systems are being attacked.
Come on. Come on.
When
Motivation values. I love the way that's
when
articulated.
our motivation value systems are attacked, that is when we often experience conflict, right? When someone gets in
Yes.
the way of me being really productive, that's when I start to experience conflict. But here's the thing, right? We can also, in our relationships, keep things, and that's why relationship intelligence is so important, because understanding the difference between opposition and conflict makes all the difference. So let's say you and I, we're about to go to
Mhm.
brunch because we know we're going to. When you come to see me in Dallas in just a few weeks, you know we're gonna
I'm
have
gonna
to,
go to
right?
Heart Eight. I gotta
So
go to
let's
Heart Eight while I'm there too.
we're gonna turn on up, okay? A professional
Yes.
turn up. Now, let's
Yes.
say I have come to pick you up, and I'm standing in your hotel room, and you put on some shoes, and we're getting ready to go. And I say, "Oh, hold on, Dr. Elisa, are you gonna wear those shoes? It's gonna rain today, so you might want to change them, right?" And you go,
Right.
"Oh." Thanks, Erin. Okay, good looking out. I appreciate that, right? And we keep moving. Now, let's rewind and go back. Now, let's say we knew each other for a while, okay? And
Yes.
now I'm standing in your room. You put the shoes on, and I go, "Oh, you never know how to dress. Why?" See, I didn't even really say that to you for real. And your
Deal. And I'm like,
reaction, exactly.
it's adverse. It's an adverse reaction.
Exactly.
I already got
That
all my spikes going. What do you mean I don't know how to dress?
now what
Look at what you're
changed?
wearing. You
What
never know how to
changed?
dress. You didn't even iron your
Exactly.
shirt. You see, I'm going off now.
You are going off. And let me tell you, the one
Yes.
thing that separates the first conversation from the second one is that it got personal. That's it. Conflict
Yes.
only happens when it gets personal. That's the difference between opposition, because we had an opposing thought. You thought those shoes were a good idea. I did not. That was opposition. You changed shoes. We went off and had lovely brunch and had a good old time, right?
Yes.
But what changed
Right.
in that second situation was literally that it got personal, right?
Mm.
And once something like that happens, once we experience conflict, this is even more amazing to me about this assessment. So knowing this helps change the game, and I'm gonna tell you why, right? So, understanding what you experience in conflict,
Mhm.
because we actually experience it in three different stages. But if you want to know more about that, let me know. I'm happy to come in and talk to you about it. But let's
Yes.
just stay in that first stage of conflict. So, for me, when something gets personal, when I'm experiencing conflict, my first stage of conflict is to assert. Okay.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what it is. It's going to be sweet and Southern because that's me, right? It may be with a
Yes.
smile,
Southern.
but I'm going to
Yes.
tell you what I'm not going to do. I'm going to tell you I'm not eating that. I'm going to tell you I don't love that. But other people may either, there's 3 different blends that we have. So assert, accommodate, and analyze, right? But for me, my first
Search,
stage is
accommodate, and
always to
analyze.
assert. Exactly.
Mhm.
So one of the things before I understood relationship intelligence and understood how I experience conflict and that people experience it actually in 14 different ways than I could, right? Or 13 different ways
Wow.
than I did.
That's a lot.
It
That's
is.
a lot. This is
It
why we have so much conflict because we don't even understand each other.
correct. Correct. And that people experience it differently because that's exactly what I was
Right.
about to say.
They got
So
13 other ways.
if I was in conflict with you, right? Kind of like how love languages are. We tend to lean
Right.
towards our love language, even though we're supposed to be loving people in their
In
language.
their language.
So I would assume if you did not assert, you were not upset. Our relationship was fine.
Fine. And this whole time I am pissed off.
Correct. You may have just accommodated because that's your first stage of conflict, right?
Yes, yeah, I check with people like that. I feel like anytime you don't, I don't.
Uh huh.
This is why I do the check. I'm like, are you? And it doesn't mean they've shown me anything, but I'm like, if I notice you were going to say something different
Yep.
than what I think, or your eyes just move, or I just hear silence, I'm like, are you sure you're comfortable with this? Because I want to make sure you're okay. Because a lot of
Absolutely.
people are more, because society has forced us to be accommodating.
Mhm.
I think most people are not naturally accommodating. We're programmed to be accommodating. Does that sound
Mhm.
right to you? That is that science,
I
or do
would
you think that a lot of people just are?
I think a lot of people actually just are. I mean, this
Okay.
assessment, total SDI, the one that I use, has been done by millions and millions of people at this point. I think maybe close to 7 at this point. So I would say that there are quite a few people who naturally accommodate, and it's not a bad thing.
Well, how
It's,
about why when we were kids we weren't naturally accommodating? Can I borrow your? Can I play with you? Like no, mom.
I,
So
I, I
this is
truly
why
think, I
you're truly
truly think,
saying like we became that, but we aren't as humans naturally accommodating like we're programmed to be. So it does become natural, but it's not our
yeah.
first nature. Our first, that's why in the back of me, I was like, shh, she always come over here and get my cornbread.
Now listen, I want you to
Yeah,
think
there you
back.
go.
I want you to really think back to the play yard, okay?
Yeah.
Because while you may have gone, I don't want to do that, think about all the other children who went home and told their mom that this person snatched something from me, or they pushed me, or they did this and they didn't do anything. So,
They did, right? You're
uh-huh.
right.
So my guess is that yes, your first stage of conflict may be to assert, but there are lots of people around us that
I
naturally
did not. That's true.
correct, right? Or
Yeah, I'm
they may
still,
have
we're arguing. I'm not arguing. We're having a difference in opinion, but
correct,
I can see what you're saying because you're
correct,
articulating it on a level that I can understand. We went right back to the play yard that I've been playing in.
correct, right? And
If they're
even
following, this is all impromptu, but we're actually doing it on purpose so you can understand how it works. Like I'm actually doing what I'm doing on purpose, creating a difference in opinion with Dr. Erin and modeling how you can. She's bringing me over, I'm bringing her over, and we're
yep,
able to agree and disagree at the same time. But I see everything
absolutely,
you're saying and you see mine. But it's
absolutely.
two sides of the same coin.
Of the same coin. And the reason, again, like I talked about, that this is not like going back and forth and we can just have a different thought process about it is because it
Yes.
didn't get personal. It's just
It,
opposition, right? And when we
yes.
use that in our relationship intelligence, when we're good stewards and good practitioners of relationship intelligence, you can literally use relationships in order to get the results that you want. And that's a big piece of why it's important. All,
to
Don't
master
get me
that.
wrong, there are phenomenal skills that to me other people that you need to be a leader, right? But to me, one of the most impactful skills in order to get the results that you want, to be the kind of leader that you want, and that can lead people in a way that they want to meet the mission and to make goals, is through really understanding and having a deep understanding of how to leverage relationship intelligence. And that's what I do in my consultant firm, Design Ideal Consultant, is help people understand that about themselves and then how
Yes.
to leverage it in everyday life.
That is a powerful tool. I believe that if we would save a lot of marriages, and a lot of people will actually be able to benefit from the
Yes.
team of professionals around them in
Yes.
corporations. There will be so much, because how many times, and we use the term, I have to always be the bigger one.
Mm.
So that is, talk to us about that, because I am now trained as a leader based
Yeah.
on your formula.
Yeah.
However, I am not the manager, or I'm not in a management role on the team. I
Mhm.
went to Dr. Erin's retreat. I'm fired up, but I'm the
Yep.
only one that my company paid to go. How do I come back and interact with these people that don't understand and know what I do? What does that look like for me?
Absolutely. So that to me is 100% why this matters, right? So by
Mhm.
understanding number one how you're motivated, and then understanding the that there's different motivation value systems out there, you can start listening to the thing that somebody hones in on. So let's say I'm having a conversation with you and I don't know exactly, which this would be so fun. I think I'm going to send you an assessment, have you do it, and it would be so fun
Absolutely.
to come back and debrief
Yes, you will
yours.
talk
I
on it
think with
on
people
here.
seeing it, that idea came to me as we were sitting here. So we're going to work
That'll
that
be a
out.
great next show for us.
For
Yes.
sure. Okay. But so let's say you get your results, right? And you're like, how
Uh-huh.
do I leverage these? So you will start number one, understanding that maybe the person doesn't hear it the same way I do. So how do I how do I play with some of the other spaces? And as you're listening, you start to ask yourself, is this person focusing on the process more? Are they
Uh,
focusing on getting it done? So the performance piece more? Or are they focusing, like the whoever the other person is, on people, right? So you're already starting
right.
to kind of eliminate what those are, and then you can start to use actionable language to help them see things or hear it, right? Or provide information in the way that helps you to be able to shape the outcomes that you're interested in. Does that make sense?
I
So
love that.
even
Yes.
though I'm motivated by performance and process, I have worked for multiple supervisors, especially in the higher education space. Once I moved to, more corporate spaces, then we started to get more people who were motivated a lot by
Performance.
performance, if
Oh
that
yeah.
makes sense.
Oh yeah.
But when I
Yes.
worked in spaces where the person was motivated by people, like I talked about with that employee, I would have to, even though I was trying to get the exact same thing done, I would need to
Yes.
change my language to talk about how it impacted people, how it would make the
Yes.
space feel, how this training would help people grow, how it would do that. Even though for me, I wanted it to be efficient, I wanted it to save us time, I wanted it to help
Yes.
us be the people that people called in order to do it. Now, I would still be able
Yes.
to get what I was trying to do done, but understanding it and being able to communicate it from a different lens changes the game for you as a high level communicator, but also someone who is also able to do the things that you're trying to do. So I would say that this is just as important, even if you're not the top leader,
Yes.
which is why I come and do this for leadership programs throughout, like Leadership Fort Worth is one that I do this for. Even for people who are mid-level managers or just starting to go into management, because it helps your awareness of how to talk to different people around what that is, but also to advocate for yourself on what you need in order to thrive in workspaces.
Oh, that is fire. So you all see, there's no excuse in you saying, what is the point? Because I hear this a lot in
Mhm,
corporate spaces. What's the
mhm,
point of them sending us and they
mhm.
not going?
Yep.
If they send you, go.
Yep.
So you can negotiate with your organization if you have that. Most companies, larger companies, nonprofit or else, do have,
Yes.
some of you get a certain amount annually that you can use towards
Yes.
professional development. You can
Yes.
literally advocate, if you're watching or listening to us, you can
Yes.
advocate that your organization work out a deal with Dr. Erin. This is just
Yes.
my thought. Work out a deal with Dr. Erin that you maybe and a few others on, if they don't, ask them to pay her for you so you can get the tool. It doesn't matter. If you get it, you got it.
Yes.
And the thing about this, Dr. Erin, it applies, relationship intelligence apply in all relationships. This will
All.
be the tool you use with your mother, with your
Yes.
sister, with your husband, with the
Yes.
boyfriend, with the boo, with the
Yes.
boohoo, with your stepdaughter. You,
Yes.
when you're functioning that way, it will break a wall down that really exists amongst us, right?
100%. I went into a corporation recently, a nonprofit actually, and one of my so I had someone who, of course, got it done through her work, right? So of course her job paid for it. She reached back out and was like, "I need my boyfriend to do this before I know if we're gonna move forward because I want to know how
Ooh,
he's motivated." I've had
right.
multiple couples come and go like this. For me, it has been amazing to understand how my husband is motivated because I'm
Yes.
able, when we're talking about things like our finances, when we're talking about things that are important, life goals for our family, to be able to say it in a way that he's motivated changes the game
Right.
because it's different from me. So, absolutely. And you would be so surprised the number of clients that I have that are not necessarily, now, don't get me wrong, I have lots of executives and VPs and CEOs who call me and go, "Come do this for my whole management team." But I have had
Right.
multiple clients come from me doing it for one person who is not even close to executive level, them walking in and saying, "I just want to share my results that I got from this because it was so eye opening. I got this from this amazing Dr. Erin, and she did this session that I was in a group, in a leadership group somewhere else." And then they bring me in to do that for the whole team because they go, "I need this information for everyone. I need this for my
Yes.
entire team at this hotel that I've done it for. I've done it for people at Marriott and we always say Marriott because that's how they pronounce their name. Even though people say Marriott all the time, they pronounce their name
Right.
Marriott. For Hilton, for all of these different companies that I work with and do this information with. But a lot of it starts from that one person who may not even be the executive leader going like, "I need this information and I'm going to
Pushing for
share it
myself.
with
Yes.
someone in leadership." Yep.
So powerful. And I love that it focuses, I haven't heard of it. This is my first time. And it focuses on the communication style, which
Mhm.
a lot of other assessments do have a component in there for how to communicate. For example, this does. But
Yeah.
this for me is so specific. And it's also to me a little bit less cumbersome, if I can say,
Yes.
from just hearing, because some things just get too much. And again, based on the type of personality that we're dealing with,
Mhm.
some people are not attracted to all that bulk. Like my partner, that would just, if disc, he likes it, but he doesn't care to like be unpacking it because it's a lot. But for anyone, for me, this sounds so simple and straightforward. It's a
Yes.
tool. Like, you didn't even, I guess maybe because I do have a palette, a psychological behavior approach to life, it already is a part of my pack. Like, I already put it in my packet and I haven't even done it yet. I don't even
Yes.
know the basis of it, but it sounds so simple that a
Yes.
caveman can do it. And
And
again,
it
I am
is.
not trying to promote it. Just, I feel like if we can have, like, when we think about politics and a lot of the
Mhm.
political environments, like, I'm sitting
Mhm.
here listening to these people saying the same thing, and it's still an
Yes.
argument. Like, what in the
Yes.
world?
And it has so much to do with literally that direction in which you're saying it. If you're telling me how it's going to impact just people, oh, we're talking about birthdays and we're talking about all these different things, then I'm trying to get it from you. But if you're telling me about how it's going to create, how we're going to move forward, how this project is going to be done, how it's going to be successful, then I'm going to hear you talk about that, and you can still do it for the benefit of other people. But yes, it is so fantastic. I literally keep my results in my drawer. That's how often I look back at mine,
Wow,
because
that's awesome.
literally, because it
But it's
provides.
only one page, Dr. Erin?
No, so it's actually, that's so funny because we weren't even gonna talk about this and then we got into it. I love it.
You got it. Yes,
It's
because it's important.
actually
Yeah.
14 really cool pages of information. So it's incredibly in depth, and I love to do this. Every one of my executive coaching clients, we do this SDI because it helps. So oftentimes when people are coaching, they're just kind of coaching from your problem, right? And
Right.
helping you kind of
Right.
think through what some of those experiences are, and hopefully if you've got a fantastic coach, asking you the right questions, because that's what
Question.
coaches should
Right.
be doing, right?
Fingers
But so
crossed.
so one of the things that changes the game for me when I'm working with my executive coaching clients, or just debriefing this information for leaders who are interested in it. And when I say leaders, because people get a little nervous when you say
They
leaders,
think
right?
managers. They think managers.
Managers, if you literally even have a family at home, even if you don't, even
You
if you
are
just go
a
to church,
leader.
even if you go wherever, you are a
Are.
leader, and you
Please
should know
understand.
this
Yes.
information about yourself, right? Okay, so that's it,
Yes.
period. I'll stop there. But when
Right.
I do this information with leaders, it literally is just so game changing because they have all the information that they need. And so when I do it with
You are a
executive
leader.
coaching clients, we don't just come from the standpoint of helping you just solve the problems that you have or the issue that you're trying to do, but we also help you see how your lens can be different from other people. And we use that as a foundation to help you understand why you may be experiencing things that way and how to kind of
Mm,
move around it, because we actually understand deeply how you are motivated, how you're experiencing conflict, and what are the skills
yes.
and strengths that you've actually been using, and what the perception of those strengths when they're overdone could be doing to impact your relationships negatively.
Oh, I love it. I love
Mhm.
it. So powerful. That is so transformation. I love that we got to spend a good quality of time on that, even though it never started, but it's one of the tools that you bring to the
Yes.
space of
Yes.
leadership and just life evolution, just
Yes.
people just being empowered in what they do. Oh my
Yes.
gosh, Dr. Erin, we're in Flip the Script where we ask our guests what is one thing that they had to change their mindset in the area of what change and how did it impact the outcome of what you were trying to do? And you
Ooh,
flip your own mindset.
I love that question. For my mindset, the flip for me was that my well-being is not optional. Period.
Ooh, I love
My
that.
well-being, your well, I'm going to look deep into the camera for somebody who needs to hear this today. Your well-being is not
Not
optional.
optional.
We
Ooh, I love
keep
this.
operating out here like it is optional, like we have
Mhm,
like we shouldn't prioritize it. And by no
mhm,
means am I telling you to be selfish. You don't have to, you don't, your well-being not being optional doesn't mean that you're not selfish, right? I
right.
give of myself selflessly to leaders, to different people who need me, but I always prioritize my well-being so that they get this
First.
version, the best version of
Yes.
Erin that they can receive, so that I
Mhm,
can be walking in what my calling and my purpose, so that they get that Erin, right? So
mhm.
your well-being is not optional, it's a strategy, right?
It's a
And I
strategy. I
want
love
people, if they don't remember anything else from this conversation, to really make sure that they rest like their legacy depends on it, because it does.
that. It does. Your legacy depends on you being strategic with your rest. Ooh, I
Absolutely.
love it. It's not an option. Dr. Erin, after everything that you've accomplished and all the wonderful things you have planned, what is success to you now?
Success to me now is a few things, right? I want my consultant firm to still, of course, be successful for many, many years to come. I want it to be one of the many things that helps me to leave a legacy that allows people to be their best selves. But honestly, success for me looks like constant striving to be self aware, to
Yeah.
prioritize strategic rest for myself and give that as a gift to people who have not been prioritizing it and looking for ways to build in and pause and to protect their boundaries. And finally, it looks like success for me looks like finding new and exciting ways to celebrate people that honor their energy and honor it
Ooh,
well, and also to surround myself with people that value each other and value helping each other be the best that we can be. Right. I'm going to talk
mm,
about that in my show tomorrow, talking about gatekeeping, right? How, like,
I
I
can't
think
wait
I
for
shared
that.
that with you, talking
Yes.
about how surrounding yourself with people who don't gatekeep, right, is one of
Yes.
those undervalued relationships kind of pieces that you need in order to be
Yes.
a leader. But yeah, that I have like found a way to surround myself with people who are so excited about my success the same way that I will be excited about theirs.
Oh, that is priceless.
Yeah.
Priceless.
Yeah.
Priceless. Oh, I love that. So, so good. Dr. Erin, we do Mindset Bites to go. It's where I step away from the video and the audio, and it's just you and the audience, giving them about 90 seconds of transformational tips that they can go with today. I am going to do that now. Here I go. It's all you.
All right. So the first thing that I would say is, for sure, we need to be out here scheduling rest like it's a meeting. Okay. If you don't do anything else, because we all know if it's not on the calendar, it's not going to happen. So I need you all to rest well, to make good decisions, and to really think about how you can show up as the best version of yourself for the people who you care about. And as a leader, self awareness is incredibly important. And so, really making sure that you understand who you are in each of the spaces that you show up in, the unique strengths. And again, if you don't know what those unique strengths are, you better reach out to me because I'm happy to help you discover those. But just knowing that you have been called for a time such as this, there is no other you, and you may be the thing, right? You not jumping into the space that you're supposed to be in may make other people miss the blessing that you are. So if you don't do anything else, I want you to realize that you do not have to be brave to be bold.
Oh my goodness. Wow. You do not have to be brave to be bold.
Mm-mm,
And if
not
you
at
didn't,
all.
if you just tuned in, you got to go back and listen to it and you'll understand exactly what that meant. Oh my goodness, Dr. Erin, you have been such a phenomenal guest. So now everybody wants to know. We've been talking about it all along because I couldn't wait till the end as we go along. What is your favorite way for our guests to connect with you?
Oh my goodness. So for me, a huge thing would definitely be subscribing to my YouTube channel. I am in building mode and creating a community there. And we're going to continue to have phenomenal. So I show up in my robe every Sunday to have a conversation with you. So I want you to be there. Also, get to know me on LinkedIn, Dr. Erin Wilson, right there on LinkedIn. And that way we can connect. check out my website if you're interested in doing total SDI, so you can absolutely rock the game moving forward when it comes to your leadership and your life. I'm happy to do that for you and then do a fantastic debrief session. You guys, thank you so much for listening today. Listen, it was just a joy and privilege to spend this space with you. It feels like we've known each other absolutely forever. Thank you for the work that you do to uplift people and to change their mindset. You are just a joy and a gem, and I'm so glad to know you now. Right? We just met today, but I'm so glad.
Now, but it's forever. We've been waiting our whole lives for this reunion. It's a reunion. Oh my goodness. Listen to our listeners and viewers. Go to Dr. Erin's YouTube. It is at Power Nap Live. I've been subscribed there for weeks as soon as I got her details and we were connecting over getting on this podcast. So it was phenomenal. I do watch it. She is fun and full of energy. She's even better over there than she was on here today, as if you can really be better. All her information is going to be wherever you're listening and watching for this. Go to www.designidealconsultant.com. That's the hub for all things Dr. Erin Wilson. And get her book, Strategic Rest and Leadership, on Amazon.
Yes.
Girl, I got you. Don't worry. I got you because I got my copy. So I already ordered my copy. So I'm going to get it autographed when I come to Fort Worth next month. But listen, guys, don't forget, she does have a free gift. It's called the Relationship Intelligence Checklist for Leaders. And that's on your website, right, Dr. Erin?
That's right. That's right under my website. As soon as you go under offerings for, of course, teams and different things like that, scroll all the way to the bottom and you will get that absolute checklist. And that'll help even remind you, especially if you want to know even deeper about your specific motivation value system, the way you experience conflict and your strengths and overdone strengths. That's the perfect place to do that.
And guess what, guys? I will get the link for you and make sure our team puts it right here where you're listening to the podcast so you can go directly and take that. But it's no real good if you don't go through the whole process, so you can put that into place and really power up your life, career, and all your business and professional relationships as well. Listen, Disruptors, it has been such a blast. We're officially ending the podcast section of this. We're going to check to see if there are any comments or questions in the chat for our live viewing audience across platforms. We thank you. And Dr. Erin will be back. She will be back here for several episodes with me. We're going to dive into some entrepreneurial things. We're going to dive into some girl stuff. We got a lot to do. So we will definitely be sharing a little bit with you all here. Maybe you'll catch it. Maybe you guys will catch us live in Dallas too. Let's see what we come up with. Dr. Erin, again, thank you so much. You're so amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right. Keep mastering your mindset, Disruptors. Think, speak, do become, and we'll see you on another episode of Mindset Master Moments. Bye now. All right. I'm just going to check to see if we were able to, if anybody asked questions. I'm still figuring out how I do this. I'm going to go over to our Instagram and YouTube and see what's going on over there. Perfect. And if you all put it later, Dr. Erin thank you so much for watching. Lacan, thank you so much for watching. Ernestine, we appreciate you. And Ada Women, we appreciate you. If you all catch this after, you can still drop questions. Dr. Erin will stop by this post and respond to you, but you know how to connect with her. We'll have the rest of our Saturdays, our Saturday evening. I wish I was in Texas now because I know we need
that. Like it would be so good to go grab some apps. But like you said, you'll be here in a couple of weeks. We're gonna have a good old time.
We're gonna have a good time.
We'll definitely at least post a picture so y'all know we're together. Okay.
Exactly, we will, because we're gonna be having fun. Okay, we love you guys, and there was absolutely nothing more to do. I can't wait to do this again with you, Erin, live on this call. We'll see you guys over and out for now. Bye-bye.